Hi, I'm Senator Lisa Wellman, here to talk with you about the work we did in Olympia to increase access to high-speed broadband and help bridge the digital equity gap for all Washingtonians. These last 2 years of the pandemic have taught us valuable lessons about the digital economy and about equity in our state's internet infrastructure. When schools closed their doors in the spring of 2020, kids had to navigate a new and tricky virtual classroom, and so did their parents and teachers. But access to the internet for our young learners isn't the only area where we've seen deficits. Working from home became the primary option for many workers and legislators. We saw a shift in how many businesses transitioned to work at home and online. Some made this transition fairly easily, but others did not. We soon realized that equity in this issue means better access to a functional internet, sufficient speeds to do real work, actual access with a device like a functioning computer, digital literacy, how to use the technology, and finally, the ability to pay the fees. For some, the cost is above their means. Like many, if not all equity issues, closing the digital equity divide is a diverse problem with many intersections. Understanding those intersecting points and how Washingtonians are affected is the core of the work we're doing. 4 years ago, our state set out to change the way we tackled high-speed digital connectivity. In 2019, we passed Senate Bill 5511 to create the State Broadband Office. We knew that high-speed broadband connectivity was the key to a number of things: economic development across the state, online educational opportunities, and telehealth in remote areas. The office was charged with creating the strategic plan for Washington State, determining who had access to some level of connectivity and who was not served. But it was not charged with that critical lens of equity. Who can't afford the broadband they need? Who's in an area with broadband and can't afford a device? And who doesn't have access to training? House Bill 1723, which just passed the House and the Senate, creates a brand new pathway for accountability. It creates the Digital Equity Act. The Digital Equity Act establishes the Digital Equity Planning Grant so that local governments, institutions of higher education, and others have access to the critical funds needed to carry out this work. The bill simply says to our community members, we recognize that Washington's economy is booming, but there are people being left behind. Broadband is a utility, and it's our responsibility to help provide better access for all. The bill says the cost of this shifting landscape should not be a heavy burden for working families. From those living in rural areas with access to patchy, slow-moving internet, to others who live in urban environments and cities but still lack the means to connect, heavy-hitting legislation has set Washingtonians up for better access to virtual education and better access to jobs that rely on high-speed broadband. The State Broadband Office is charged with reaching out to local governments, tribes, to local community agencies, to workforce development program providers, and the Office of Equity, and to report on what needs to be done. It encourages public-private partnerships and work with different providers offering equitable solutions. We need to ensure that those living in special circumstances have what they need in order to adapt to the changing pace of our digital environment. And these might include veterans, seniors in managed care facilities, and non-English speaking community members, foster children, or homeless families in shelters. The bill creates a digital equity forum to investigate, explore, learn, and identify the outstanding needs of communities, and share solutions and best practices to address the digital divide. And we're setting aside funds for grants to move the work forward. As we dust ourselves off from the 2 hard years of the pandemic, Washington State is poised to come roaring back to full vitality, and we want to bring all Washingtonians with us. Our work is far from over, and the digital equity divide is far from bridged. But the work we're doing in the legislature underscores the power of inclusion and the importance of equity. And it's our hope that together we can build a brighter, cleaner, and greener technological future for all.